Hello guys, good morning. My name is Daniel Desulier. I'm living in France. I'm a former private pilot and I've got my private pilot license in 1998 and I flew small airplanes until 2011. Then I stopped and right now I'm just trying to adapt my skills to helicopters. So I'm living in France. I know the Alps, especially the Chamonix city area, Mont Blanc, and all peaks around. And the purpose of this little video is just to have a tour around Mont Blanc and summits and refuge and have a good sightseeing for all this area. So I learned to fly helicopter with a real pilot, a real helicopter pilot, which has its own PPLH for H for helicopter. So I'm not really a rookie, but I'm just an advanced beginner. So please excuse me if I made some mistakes. You can add some comments on the video and just teach me some lessons if you want. If you want. So we are inside the cockpit. We have an external view of the Lama from Camshin Studio, Philippe U. And it's a very nice and very light machine and built in France, the country where I live, and I was often used to see this helicopter, this chopper, just supplying huts and anybody who lives very high in the mountain. So let's start the check. So the blade is in front. This avoid uh, the blade be just in front of the exhaust tube, which is very high, very elevated temperature when turning, about 650 degrees at the maximum. So if not, you have to turn manually the blade with one in front to ensure you are on the good rotor blade position. I check manually my cyclic, it's okay, my pedals, it's okay. Have a look to my collective, full course, okay. The fuel is cut, the throttle is down. So I let it as is for right now. I'm just awaking the battery and radar altimeter is on, ventilation is on, just to avoid to be cooked in the cockpit like in the oven when you have so much glasses with a quite sunny day. Right now I'm checking fuel, it's enough for the tour. So checking altimeter, okay, checking variometer or vertical speed, checking artificial horizon, which is not engaged because the pump is not functioning. My speedometer is at 0. My navigation clock is and gyrometer is okay. I know it's just the nav 1. Here the radar altitude is okay too. My gyrometer and my compass are aligned. This huge clock is there to compute the maximum of torque regarding the temperature, your weight, the elevation. So I'll put it in automatic mode for right now, not to be annoyed while flying. This is the vacuum, this is the clock. So this is gauges for ITT and turbine. Here are the turbine pressure, here are the turbine temperature, and is the exhaust temperature. And here is the rotor and the turbine RPM. The huge needle is for turbine RPM, usually used to be placed around 34,000, and the rotor is used to be at 35, 36, 37 RPM. I put my transponder on standby mode. In France, VFR code is 7000, and my navigation and my radio are on both. So just opening the fuel lever and asking the pump to be on mode. By default, normally this is the normal way to start. Battery, generator. I put position lights on. Okay, the throttle is done, and then the engine is able to start. Just have a look on the ITT. We are just reaching the limit. It's a sunny day, it's a hot temperature outside, 10,000. Vacuum is okay, pressure on turbine is okay. Generator is functioning right now. Here are volts. It's alternator, it's battery control. So the artificial horizon is functioning right now. On this version, you can fix the needle. It's just a fixed position for right now. So I just check the position lights. This is not to be used. Pitot it is used. Position lights, everything, and I'll enlight the landing lights when ready to start, ready to take off. I'm increasing the throttle right now. And the blades are starting their rotation slowly in the beginning, and smoothly I add some throttle. And I verify that the clutch, the spin is engaged just before 20,000. Okay, the rotor RPM warning is down, and I check temperature battery is okay, fuel filter is okay, engine chips okay, pitot it is okay, gyro instrument is okay, generator, fuel, trans oil, starting equipment, all is okay. So we can lift up from here. Here on the top right I have a small gauge which indicates the position of the helicopter, the direction, with the small green arrow, and the white arrow is indicating that the wind is coming from 112 degrees. And there I have the rudder and the cyclic position, and in red it's the trimmed default. So ready to take off. So we are starting from PGA Shame. It's a place from police in Chamonix, a place where the rescue helicopter is normally based. So I'm starting from this place and I'm turning to my 6 to join the Arve River. So okay. It's an unconventional lift up. Normally you have to just elevate at 3-5 feet above the ground and then spin down the nose and pull up the collective to increase your speed before gaining altitude. So here below is the Arve River. And when you're flying in a valley, you are supposed not to overfly above habitations, just not to annoy people living there. So in front of us we have a peak with a right part which is rocky and dark grey rocky, and the left part is snowy. It's Aiguille du Goûter. In this place where we are heading right now. The speedometers is in indication are in kilometers per hour. So it's a slow helicopter. What I'm saying? No, they are knots. It's not. Sorry. Not in. It depends on the machine. The precedent was in kilometers per hour. This one is in knots. So this helicopter is normally cruising at 100. It's a very effective helicopter for any slang and which works. Right in front of us, the entrance of the tunnel du Mont Blanc, a tunnel tube which is going below the mountain on 12 kilometers and going outside in Italy. Pretty much more used by trucks than cars. A terrible accident occurs in the 19th, obliging people just to maintain spaces between vehicles. People died below in a furnace. Horrible death. In front of us, this is the Glacier des Bossons glaciers, which was used to go down when I was 20 in the 80s. This glacier was lying on the grass below us and reaching the road where now you have habitations. So it's just showing you what is climate change. Outside from rear view, and we have a good sighting on l'Aiguille du Goûter, and on the left the shoulder, the icy shoulder is Dôme du Goûter. now using VR, but I guess pretty soon I'll be equipped and be able just to look and show what I am looking at in every situation. I have a special key just to have a look below. I'm trying to maintain the torque within the limits. In front of us, this is the shoulder coming from the top of Aiguille du Côté, and we are just flying over the normal ascent route, which is following the gully below us, a very stony and with lots of loose rock and very dangerous place to hike, but this is a knowledge, a mandatory route to climb up to the refuge. We are just seeing the refuge du Côté, the old one, in front of us. Speed, which is obtained on an helicopter by a flare, just keeping the nose a little bit up while pushing the collective down, and then your speed is low. Platform where to land is just in front of us. You can see the circle. So I have to stay a little bit higher, just to avoid ground effects, because the wind is blowing the shoulder like above the wing and accelerating the wind. The wind is 4 knots, and then we are making a quiet landing. Sorry for pronunciation, I'm not used to speak that much in English. Okay. And we have landed. Just look from outside. I'm not right in the center. Yes, sorry for that. So right now we are climbing. We're just taking off, and the option normally is just to lift up and then go straight to an empty space to gain speed. Okay, my speed is increasing and my lifting too. So I'm joining the arrêt de Miage. This ridge, this crest, is connected to the top of the Dôme du Côté by Bionnassay Ridge, which is a famous normal route, a rather difficult one. You need lots of balance because it's a very thin, very narrow ridge on top of which you are walking from the valley to the top of the Mont Blanc. are following this ridge. In familiar words in climbing, this is called a goat path, chemin de chèvre, because goats are used to climb any place, anywhere. We have a magnificent view on the top of the Mont Blanc, and on its right shoulder, which is lying down to Italian part of the area. There is a refuge just in front of us, but it's a little bit cloudy, so to avoid any complication if the flight, we'll see another day how to land on a very small and very high platform. So here is Dôme du Goûter. People are climbing up to the Refuge du Goûter in the clouds, and then the day after they have near 2,000 meters to climb to reach the summit. We are facing north face of Mont Blanc. We are just passing over top of Dôme du Goûter, and in front of us we can see two houses, which are huts, the old one lower and the new one upper, which has Refuge Vallon. We are using a tailwind, so I have to take care to maintain sufficient speed, airspeed, and sufficient vertical speed. We are following the normal route, which is called bumpy ridge, arrêt des bosses en français. People are used to ski the left face down from the summit until Chamonix in the valley. A huge piece of work. Now heading to the wide shoulder in front of us, which is called Petit Mont Blanc, which is the Italian part of the summit, and Italian pilots are allowed to drop people by chopper right there. In France, you are not allowed to drop people by chopper on remarkable peaks. As you can see, the summit is sculpted by wind effects. and we have just landed just below the summit. So there is a small flat area there, you have to know, and people enjoying the victory at the summit. Despite maintaining the nose low, the wind on the summit just pulled me back. It's a ground effect. So right now we are just following the second route to the Mont Blanc, which come from l'Aiguille du Midi, which is in front of us, just above the pedestal, a small cloud, and three thin peaks, which are at the top of the cable car coming from Chamonix. There is another cable car leading from this peak to our right to Torino Refuge. So I'm just flying over Mont Maudit, and the white area, the flat area, is Mont Blanc du Tacu. When I was younger, I was used to climb there some normal route or some difficult routes, depending on the partner I climbed with. Just above my feet you have Grand Capucin and Petit Capucin, which are the two famous peaks, very difficult rock climbing. Not extreme, but very difficult. And right now is the north face of Tourcoing, round tower north face. A challenging piece of ice climbing. And as you can see, in front of us, just above my feet, you can see some construction, some buildings on top, a small shoulder, just above the empty part, just above the vacuum. And this is the arrival of the cable car coming from Italy, on top of which there is an helipad, an helicopter platform, where we are trying to land right now. So as you can observe, I'm limiting my speed, and I have a relatively huge descent speed, and I have to maintain my helicopter relatively flat, not banking too much on the rear to avoid loss of control. We are making an approach. The wind is coming from my left, and I'm just going a circle to be just flying over the cables with a safe margin. Yes. As you can see, this helicopter is relatively stable on hovering. Oh you have a magnificent view on the very narrow needle, which is the black tower of Petré. I climbed this route on just the ridge on the right, on the left part, which is a very difficult route, but with some easy part, just to have some rest while climbing. And then you drop down on the gully on the right, and then you start climbing the very peaky part on the right, which is the white tower of Petré, which is joining Italian part of the Mont Blanc. These are magnificent climbs. So as I said before, as I am a beginner, I'm not just dropping myself on the platform very quickly. I prefer clear and quiet approach to stay virtually in life. Okay. Not in the center, as always, like I can say. So, excuse me for that. So right now, we're just lifting up. And heading to Vallée Blanche, White Valley. The White Valley is coming from the origin of this cable on the needle in front of us. We are just have a look on Aiguille du Midi. Follow the cable with a safe margin. And on the right part of the screen you can see Aiguille de Chamonix, Midi Blanc, and Grépon, and Charmoz. Midi Blanc, Charmoz, et Grépon. And there is a famous cross, Charmoz-Grépon. You are coming from the other side, and then you are joining the cable car, and then you cable down. And there is an orange face, an orange needle, an orange slab, wall, triangular one, which is face sud de l'Aiguille du Midi. Very famous routes are drawn in this face. It's a pure rock climb on the sun, just above the starting of the Vallée Blanche, starting of the White Valley. And on the left part, it's a cosmic ridge. There is also a refuge there. Magnificent piece of rock. Magnificent place where to climb. As you can see. Look this. Amazing. I've been there several times and it's always magnificent. Look. In front of us, the Grand Joras on the left and La Dent du Géant on the right. The giant tooth on the right and Joras. This is a very steep north wall, very complicated ascent. And it has been long until this ascent has been done by Italian guys, very brave. 3 of them with an old rope, no harness. They did it in the old way, as we said, and it is a piece of art. There is a normal route which is coming from the cable car station where we landed before, and which is going around the giant tooth, and then which is following the ridge until the gully, until the pass which is between this ridge and the beginning of the Grand Joras. You have the profile of the Grand Joras, and you can estimate it's 1,200 meters high. It's a all-day climb. Sometimes people are just sleeping in the woods. And for your information, it's above 4,000 the summit, and it's a north face, and during the night it's freezing. So it's not an easy way to climb. You have to be trained, you have to be resilient, you have to be patient, and you have to coordinate your effort with your partner. A team, which is called in France une cordée, a climbing team of 2 alpinists, is really relying one on each other. So you have to be confident on your partner, who is confident on you. Everybody rely on the other, which is pretty much a good experience in life. There are several pillars on this face. The topmost right is Whimper, and the topmost left is Walker, and the Walker is a place of the topmost difficult routes. And there is a piece of ice, a steep wall of ice, which is called in France linceul. I don't know the English word, but I may translate it. It's the piece of sheet in which you put a dead body, which is linceul. That starts low, and that's just to climb straight up to a small shoulder, and then you have to continue your climb on rock and climb ice and rocks. So you can admire this. So you had a good look on very hot spots for climbers and mountaineering in Chamonix. On our right it's Italian side, on our left it's the French side, and we are heading to another part. I have to take care of the wind effect of the pass. Okay. On the right, behind you can see Aiguille du Triolet, and then Les Courtes, short peak, and I am now heading to the left part of the crest, where you can see droite, the straight peak, and then I'm leading to a beautiful mountain, which is Aiguille de la Verte, the green needle. And as you can see, there is cloud on the top, and just below the cloud on on the left side you can see Petite Rue and Grande Rue. Small Rue and big huge Rue, which is a piece of work for climbers too. Just have a look on the map. So we're heading to the Grande Rue. In front of us, the small crest just below the summit on the left is called Flamme de Pierre, stone fire. And from this part are falling lots of rock, just falling on the starting of the roots. And I'm just turning back on my right to offer you a panoramic view on the Juge. Delta Romeo uniform. This is Rue. Yeah. Here is the Rue. Just moving backward. On the right part you can see grey and yellow slabs. This is the part which is the most climbed by climbers, and the left part is by alpinists because it's mixed, it's a melting part with ice and rock. Two kinds of climbing. So we have almost finished our tour. We have a very enjoyable sea sighting on a pack of peaks, and these are Aiguilles de Chamonix. Climb several routes there. It's always enjoyable. Very strong, very solid granite rock with cracks, steps. It's yellow and orange and grey. When you are holding this in your hand, it's tough, but it looks solid, and it's very pleasant part. Charmoz, Big Charmoz, Répond, Midi Plan. As you can see, these are steep walls with lots of cracks, roots, diagonal slabs, overhang. A very pleasant place where to climb, where to enjoy living in mountain. And when you are on top, you just offer yourself a small lunch and have a 36 degrees panoramic view. So we are just joining bottom of Aiguille du Midi, where our cables are heading up. Yes, cables are not so far, just I have to take care. Stadium. The part of the city which is laying below on the bottom of the valley is Chamonix, and the part of the city which is a bit furthermore in front of us is Argentière. There is a small part of green grass runway, which is a small airport in Chamonix for light aviation and gliders and parapentes, paragliders and ultralight vehicles. I am just 1,500 feet above the city, but when reaching 1,000 it is preferable just to avoid flying over the city. And then we are just seeing in front of us our destination, the PGHM base, just there above the pedestal, just left on the Arve River. There are some wind effect there, so you have to make a vertical descent because you have to 40 knots wind in front of us. So I'm fighting against the wind because this is a very light machine. I'm alone on board, and I have to take care. Yes. Okay, quite good landing for myself. Okay, so is ending our tour. Hope you enjoyed it, and by the way, you had a good review on this excellent machine, which is called the Lama Sierra Alpha 315 Bravo, which is built by Airbus Industry in the 70s, 80s, 90s. It's a machine which is still in use in some places because it's the topmost machine for its special skills, and which is slanging and winching in very narrow area. It's a rather economic machine. So hope you seeing you soon, and if you like this video you can hitch up, and if not you can hitch down. Why not? And let me your comments. Any comments is really appreciated. Bye bye.